Good morning to Wednesday's Q&A. I think we're into, I don't know which day it is now, but we've had daily videos going out and your questions continue to come, and that is very interesting, and it's been very helpful to see what questions people ask. Anyway, to get on YouTube, Noni Harris asked about adding extra details. She says, is it considered, in brackets, rude to add detail to a design? I'm doing some rather naked looking leaves and they don't look balanced with the rest of the design. Oh, Noni, I hope that it's not one of my designs, but that's fine. I don't mind what you do with our designs once they're yours, and I'm sure most other designers feel the same. I mean, really, if you alter a design, it becomes your design, doesn't it? So you really should do what you think is right, because it needs to be right to your eyes. I often talk about the perception of colour, and I know from teaching design and colour over many years that the way people see colour is very different, and people shouldn't really criticise choices of colour, because I know that some people have degrees of colour blindness, and just people love and link to a colour in a special way, so it evokes memories, and perhaps it's the same with yours with the shapes as well. Another question was after the Sunday video about the third Boston bed hanging, which was a couple of weeks ago now, and it's Lesongi Vengomo. I'm so sorry, I'm so blooming English about pronunciation. Although I have a very large and multicultural family, I don't seem to be getting any better with pronouncing names, and I do apologise to anybody who I mispronounce. I always get called Phillipa in America, and I don't really answer to that, so I do apologise. Anyway, right, so Lesongi, I think it is, the third Boston bed hanging. Exquisite work. I dream of attempting to match it. Dreamy face. Where do you find pieces like this? Auctions? Private purchases? If auctions, how do you go about finding which auctions have pieces like this available? Well, actually, it's quite easy nowadays. It wasn't easy before. I used to have to go on lists, and then auction houses would phone me, and then I would find that it wasn't crewel work after all, because they, in those days, crewel work was not widely known as it is now, so amongst general auction houses, and it's often in the general auction houses that you find something that you can afford. So I like buying pieces that are in terrible condition, because then I can see the stitches, and that's my main interest, and I know that I can probably stabilize the piece. I have enough skill to do that, because I've been many years been taught by Jackie Hyman of the Textile Restoration Studio in Manchester, which is actually conservation. So just knowing what not to do and how, and that really is very helpful with it. Anyway, but the other beautiful pieces I've got are when I've worked hard and I've earned enough money and I just get one iconic piece. So the Boston hanging, I described that my daughter very luckily found them in Boston and bought them and phoned home and made sure that everybody chipped together and got it for my 50th. So that was fantastic. But other pieces I've bought, I have more recently bought. I bought on all the auction websites that have a search option. And you are alerted on your phone or on your computer to know when an auction's coming up. Now, I get masses of alerts and for different sorts of needlework. So I put in stump work, or I put in needlework, or I put in embroidery. Now, when you put all that in, as well as crewel work, 1 word and 2 words, when you put all that in, you're going to get an awful lot of emails. So I ignore most of them, and I can't afford to buy every day of the week, obviously. So you just have to search and do it like that, and it has never been easier to find needlework at auction. But just be aware that some auction houses charge 10%, some 15%, some 25%. So you pay £1,000 for something, it might come out at £1,250. The other way I buy, of course, is from Meg Andrews, who's a well-known textile antique dealer in London, and her knowledge is just wonderful. And I just, I'm buying genuine pieces that she's researched and she knows about. And, I just rather get that really. And I know that's a fixed price. And there is no surcharge on it, and she buys well. So, and she's doing all that research for me, so I don't mind that I might have to pay 10% more than I normally would if she's doing all the research, and beautifully photographed as well. So that's really, I buy probably half in half from auctions and from Meg Andrews. And a shout out, the last piece that we're going to talk about today, Instagram message from She Stitches by Candlelight, and it's the response to the meaning of the marriage pillows stance that we talked about earlier. She says he would listen to her and her reasoning, and she would follow his direction and guidance in making decisions. She says, just guessing, but it does apply to some Bible principles. Hope these are useful. Thanks, K. K as in capital K, not K-A-Y. Thank you very much indeed. I think that's so helpful and so wonderful. And really, other people sending in their research and their knowledge is how we will all understand textiles more. So please keep sharing your knowledge or guesses, because, you guess, somebody else researches that guess. We come out with a point of contact about that piece, and my husband, who's a professor of music, he says you've got to have 3 points of information, and then you can think that it's probably a fact. So 1 point of information or hearsay will never do for him, and I quite agree. And there's an awful lot of baloney talked about needlework on the internet, but somebody's guess means that somebody else who might be a curator in the museum thinks, oh, that's a new angle. I'm going to look at it from that angle and see if that matches up with that. And it's fascinating. It's a real detective story. And thank you very much indeed to everybody who is sending in details and taking that rather brave step, because I want you to know that my attitude is no question is a stupid question, or no comment is stupid in any way, because on our retreats we've had people say, oh, I'm so sorry, this is probably something you all know but I don't know. And it's always been the most interesting question, or just a fresh approach. We do need a fresh approach from everybody, and to get your thoughts, and this is the time to do it. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.